Well, hey guys, good morning. Happy Friday and happy holidays to everybody. Christmas is next week. Always one of my favorite times of the year to celebrate with family and take a little time off with the kids and just watch Christmas movies and hot chocolate and all that fun stuff and to be thankful, which is important, right? To be thankful for everything that we do have and the family and health. And so I wish you guys all the best. So happy holidays. So, I did a video early this week on top reasons to be an entrepreneur. And today I want to talk briefly about the top reasons not to be an entrepreneur. And again, this is my view, and you'll hear it different ways. And this channel obviously has a different focus. That I'm trying to give you a different spin, a different look at what you might hear from other folks online that unfortunately a lot of them are out there. Like I'm just thinking about Tony Robbins, just because it's a name that everybody knows, that are out there to try to sell you a course and hoorah and say, they pump you up to take that risk, be an entrepreneur, right? And but they don't talk enough about not only the downside but also what are the right reasons to be an entrepreneur. They just kind of get you all worked up, which is important, get you the energy, but yeah, I got to be sure you guys get the full picture. So, the reasons not to be an entrepreneur, again, the way I see it is you have to remember what an entrepreneur does, right? And the word entrepreneur is going to mean different things to different people, how they interpret it. So the way I interpreted being an entrepreneur, and I did a video a while back about the title being Warren Buffett not being an entrepreneur, and what I mean by that is Warren Buffett doesn't create anything, right? He looks at numbers all day, and I know I'm being overly generalizing here. I know he does more than that, but he looks to buy existing businesses, right? He doesn't have the next big idea or the next thing that's going to move cars, spaceships, housing, phones. He's not going to take that risk to move the needle on an industry forward, right? He's more of an investor. Now, the media loves to throw that word entrepreneur around, right? But I don't view that being an entrepreneur. What I view being an entrepreneur is you're in an industry that you enjoy, that you really like, and you see an opportunity that isn't being met, and you're passionate about going to work on that problem. And that problem isn't being worked on at where you're at your current job or what you're trying to do. And again, I've used the Apple example, and I'm using kind of these examples because these are things that everybody knows about and easy to research. And I've got so many other different examples of people that I've known over the years that you would know, entrepreneurs that kind of help illustrate as well. But let's just say Apple, right? I mean, and again, you should read, and read up and do your research on this. You can learn from Wozniak and Jobs. They had a job at a big computer company. I think it was Wozniak or Jobs were at HP. One of them were at HP, and they pitched that idea of a personal computer to HP, and they thought they were crazy. There's never going to be people are never going to have their own personal computer, right? And so they're an entrepreneur, and then they were passionate. They were hanging out at the computer club and the folks that are interested in that space, and well, we're going to create it. We're going to create our own computer, our own personal computer. We believe in it. That's an entrepreneur, right? They start out of their garage, a lot of risk, right? The odds are totally against them, and you have to remember, being an entrepreneur, the odds are against you. No matter what vertical you're in, the odds are against you, and so you have to. Not only the odds are against you, and the only thing that gets you to squeak by the odds and to be the exception, like I said in the other video, is you. And the word passion, I'm being careful how to throw it around, because I think that word's been thrown around also too much, because you might start with a lot of passion, but you get punched in the mouth so much when you, as an entrepreneur, that if it ends up being something that you're really interested in, you like, and you continue to like, then that's okay, right? Because a lot of people switch midway where they're like, well, I've lost a passion for this project, I'm going to go find something else to work on. Well, you're never going to find anything, because anything that starts with passion is so difficult that if it ends up that you still like it, then that's a win. right? And that's really important. So I just want to make sure I define where an entrepreneur is. And so, if your goal, and again, this channel isn't about if you equate success about having the most money in your bank account, this is not the right YouTube channel for you. Go somewhere else. There's plenty of those on YouTube. The Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and all that. This ain't this. And again, I'm a car lover. I love cars and nothing against owning a Ferrari, but I'm just saying that mindset, right? This channel is about helping you be as much a well-rounded entrepreneur as you can be, right? And that you're leading from love and with service, right? That what you're working on is you love it, you're passionate about it. It's your quote unquote what you view as your service to society to help move the needle forward, and that has to be the energy of it, right? And so if you want to make as much money as possible, I would steer you away from being an entrepreneur, unless you're super passionate about what you're doing, and then maybe you can get to a point where you make a lot of money. If you want to make a lot of money and reduce all the risk, for sure, I looked at being more like a Warren Buffett, right, where there's still risk, but a lot less risk because you're basically buying proven models, established businesses that you can operate more efficiently and grow and sell for more money and all that, right? This channel is not about that, and we can talk about that a little bit, but it's not what it's about. It's really about being an entrepreneur. And so the reasons not to be an entrepreneur, again, is not hey, I want to make, hey, AI is really hot right now, or Bitcoin, and I'm gonna go be a millionaire being in Bitcoin and AI. That's the fastest way to lose money and be miserable and say entrepreneurship doesn't work or all those things. So before you take that first step, and that's really, if I can achieve anything with this channel, these videos I'm doing, is helping you think through that first step. And if I can help you think through that first step so that first step is more productive, then I've accomplished my goal, with the entrepreneurship part of this channel. So today, right, if you equate, and I don't, for me, I equate quote unquote success to leading a life of service and working on something that's aligned with who I am. Obviously, love for family and community and making sure that I can be as balanced as possible and working on something I'm really interested in, right? For me, if I wake up in the morning and the goal is just to turn $1, I'm gonna lose all motivation, right? So it has to be about obviously making $1 because I have to pay for things like anybody else, but it can't be the sole purpose. And if you equate your definition of success to just money, then you might think that I'm not successful in that sense. And what I mean by that is if I had chosen a different path of more of a status quo, Warren Buffett, or just buying existing things and not doing what I'm doing with Aina Communities and all the other things I've done, yeah, my bank account will probably have more zeros, but that's not the point, right? That's not the goal, at least not for me. And so I just want to make sure you don't get the two confused, because entrepreneurship is really difficult. It's really, 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 really difficult. And again, there's different grades of businesses of how hard they are to execute, scale 1 to 10. Again, and I've said this in previous videos, the easiest business would be to execute, and again, this is still difficult because you got to get traction, is, selling information, right? Selling information online, you're not producing any product, that might be the easiest business. And then all the way to the hardest is, rocket ship company and electric cars and building physical things. And there's things in between. So there's different degree of difficultness to different business models, for sure. And you got to be aware of that, right? You got to be aware of the vertical that you're in, and you got to study, other entrepreneurs in your industry before you and current, and what challenges they had, because different things are going to be different to execute on, and you got to be mindful of that. But again, if it's who you are, if you're interested in what you're doing, and not that you would do it for free, but if I gave you a good amount of money just to live okay, and you could work on that forever, and never have $1 billion, then that's the good direction, right? So that's really the main reason not being an entrepreneur. Also, if you don't want a lot of additional stress in your life. I mean, entrepreneurship brings a lot of stress, and I know, working for somebody and having a boss that has its own set of stress, but at least when you come home, you can somewhat disconnect from it. And when you're an entrepreneur, you're really never totally off mentally, right? You have to really force yourself to try to disconnect, which, next week being Christmas, I'll be hard at work on that, trying to disconnect as much as I can, and to be as much as I can in the moment, present, with my family, with my kids, instead of thinking of the 20 million things that I have to do in the new year, and the initiatives and the things we're working on. And because if I don't go at it, if I don't wake up and keep pushing, it's not gonna happen, right? And even then, that's the other hard thing that I've mentioned before, and I keep mentioning is, and it's a hard reality of being an entrepreneur, is you could have a good idea, really like it, and really work super hard at it, and it might still not happen, right? And you got to be okay with that. You got to be okay that it was part of the journey, that it's not a quote unquote failure, right? Because you learned a lot, and that's the point of life, is learning a lot. And not only have you learned a lot about the business, but more importantly, you've learned so much about yourself, right? Which is what I mentioned in the previous video this week, which is one of the main reasons to want to be an entrepreneur. It's one of the great ways to the great equalizer to quote unquote find yourself, right? Seeing your strengths and weaknesses, and really going out there and seeing what life is about, what you're about, and really where the rubber meets the road. When you have a salary job and you have a career and you get a little comfortable, there's no growth in being comfortable. And it's hard for me to say this as well, right? It's not like I enjoy it that much either. I don't think I enjoy it. Well, I take that back. I enjoy the challenge, right? And I'm sure that's probably why I've been an entrepreneur so long, is I enjoy the challenge where other folks, who haven't been through that might just walk away from it, and that might be the end of it. But you have to be aware of it, that being an entrepreneur comes with a lot of challenges. But again, if this is what you're meant to be, if you in your core you feel this is what you're meant to be, then you're on the right path, right? Steve Jobs has said this many times about every day waking up, looking at themselves in the mirror, and asking himself, again, I'm butchering the quote, but essentially, what I'm about to do today, if it's not what I'm interested in, and there's too many of those days in a row, then it's time for a change. But if you wake up that morning and you look at yourself and say, no, this, I'm still passionate about this. I think there's opportunity here. This is really what aligns with me. Then keep going until you can't anymore. That's what being an entrepreneur is about. And if it quote unquote fails, then I still think it's a win, because you tried. Most people, again, the statistics are frightening. And again, this is not my opinion. Look at the studies that have been done. They get done all the time. Is the majority, not everybody, thankfully, but unfortunately, the majority of people don't enjoy their jobs. So they're going every day, going to do something they don't like, and they're doing it. I get it. They gotta pay the bills, pay the mortgage, all these things that we have to do, and so at least, when you try being an entrepreneur, and it might be quote unquote a failure, at least you tried, right? You're not sitting there at your desk at a company and thinking, well, I wish I would try. How about if I tried this, or I'm really interested in this or that? When you go ahead and do it, you've actually tried it, and you've learned a lot about yourself and about the business. So those really are the main reasons not to be an entrepreneur, and it really should be a non-starter for you. If you don't, if you already have enough stress in your life, you don't want to add stress, don't be an entrepreneur, because it's going to add a lot of stress. If you're just chasing a trend that you think is hot because you read in the news, don't go do that, unless you're really interested in it. And there's people I know who are going to comment and say, well, I'm really interested in making money, and that's fine. And this is not, I don't think this is really the channel for you, because the message here is to help you combine both, right? But if you want to make the most money as possible, being a true entrepreneur, I don't think is the right for you, because I think that you're going to just increase the odds of you failing, which they're already high to begin with, but you're just stacking the odds against you by having that mentality going into it. And that's how I define entrepreneurship. That's how I start the video that way, because if you define entrepreneurship as buying an existing business that's been in business 25 years, and has been doing really well and you're buying it and you're going to add to that, I guess you are sort of an entrepreneur, but it's not the definition of the way I see it. And so, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, if you want to buy an existing business and grow it, there's nothing wrong with it at all. But that's a different definition of how I view entrepreneurship. So anyways, like all these videos, you know, so many rabbit holes to go down, and if you guys have questions, you know, the more questions you guys ask, you know, it kind of leads me into going down further into details on all these points that I'm working on, and we'll also, you know, flush out some other points that I haven't thought about here as I'm doing these videos on the fly. You know, in the time that I have, you know, I'm doing these videos here. As you can tell, I'm always in the car, you know, in between things, and I do think about the topic. You know, I like doing these in the morning because when I get up and, you know, I like to work out in the morning and get my day going, there's topics that I think about that I want to share with you guys. And this week, that's what I want to talk about, those two things, you know, top reasons to be an entrepreneur and top reasons not to be an entrepreneur. But to grow that topic and to go further down, you know, we really enjoy the interaction with you guys. And so, you know, like, subscribe. You guys know, you guys who are on YouTube, if you're interested in this content, you know what to do. And, you know, look forward to continuing chatting with you guys, and wish you guys all the best to you and your family for the holidays, and the best for the new year, and health and happiness. All right, take care. See you.